Hello to everybody! Hey, you're looking good today. So this is Elisabeth and this is the channel of Fior della Spada, our HEMA club, which basically means we hit each other with swords. We started to upload on a regular basis in 2022, and in this video I wanted to address some questions that came up in the comments more often and some other stuff that we are currently working on and about what's going to happen in the next time. I originally intended to make this video exactly a year after we started to upload regularly, but then Dry Event happened. I had so much stuff to edit that I just didn't have time, and then the next thing happened, and then the next thing happened, and the next thing happened, but here we are. So now it's been 1.5 years that we started to take care of all of our socials. At this point, a massive thanks to the subs that have joined us already on this journey. And just in case you didn't know, you can also follow us on Instagram, on TikTok and on Facebook. Why are we still using Facebook? Yeah, so this is strange, at least to me personally, because most of the people I know have fled that platform years ago, but not HEMAists. HEMAists seem to like it there. Basically, HEMA is the only reason I still have Facebook. And I remember that even when I was still working for the Austrian Federation, I got requests by other federations via Messenger on Facebook, which to me was really strange. But yeah, HEMAists kind of like Facebook and they are pretty active over there. I really don't get it. Is it an age thing? Is there some other reason why Facebook works better for HEMA? I really don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments. So our first topic got the handsome title, the Spaghetti Dilemma. Since we do Bolognese fencing style, we tend to use the word Bolognese a lot. I say it a lot in the videos, and it's also a common ingredient in many of our video titles and thumbnails. Apparently, the first association of, first of all, I think US Americans, but also people of German-speaking countries, when they hear Bolognese, is this. And some of them were really hilarious. I don't know if some of them were serious though. Were they? Ma perché ci fate sta cosa? Che l'abbiamo fatto di male? Myself, growing up in Italy, my first association when I hear the word Bolognese is the city of Bologna, where our fencing style developed. And that's the end of the story for me. If our thumbnails and video titles and our videos make you constantly think of food, I'm sorry, but we won't stop. Actually, I'm not sorry. Kneel in front of the wonders of Italian cuisine. So just to make all of you happy, here is an Italian pizza. Here is some taralli. Here is some ossobuco. Okay, are we done now? But if this channel is not about Italian food, what do we do? And that was one of the questions we sometimes got in the socials. So here's the answer. Our club is a HEMA club, so historical European martial arts, specialized on fencing style that was developed in Bologna. We put our emphasis on the early sources of the 16th century, which means an anonymous manuscript we call Anonimo Bolognese, and the fencing book Opera Nova from 1536 by Achille Marozzo, which is well known in at least among HEMAists. Later sources we sometimes use, but not as much as the first two. I'm glad we could clarify this. Since we're already talking about Italy and food and fencing, if I hear another person pronounce Italian words like this: zucchini, ricotta, come osi, gnocchi, I just die. No, just kidding. I know there's no better way to make fun of Italians. Next up, how sharp is a sword? Some of the comments we received suggested that there's still a big misconception about how sharp swords are and how easily or not easily they cut. Someone literally wrote under a video where I was showing one of our simulators that if it was a real sword, my finger would fall off because I was running down the edge with my finger. Now the first thing, for those who don't know, we use blunt swords. We don't use sharp swords in training. And in fact, the sword in the video in question was a blunt. We only use sharp swords for cutting tests, obviously. Here you see, my finger's fine, I'm still alive. So it seems that people tend towards two extremes as far as I've seen. One bunch of people thinks that all swords are extremely sharp, maybe also inspired by all of these myths that are still existing surrounding the Japanese katana. I wonder where that came from.
Watch this.
So that's basically if you just come near a blade, your head falls off or something like that. For HEMA, that would mean that every slight touch with the blade, the edge, would basically end the fight. All European swords, or most of them, get less sharp when you go down towards the hilt, because obviously the part that is meant mainly to cut with is the upper part. And there are even techniques where you're supposed to grab the blade of your opponent near to the hilt. So here, for example. So if you fought, my finger would fall off by running tenderly down the edge of a blunt sword. Try to process that. But the other half of the bunch is running around using swords like baseball bats, because they think otherwise the wound wouldn't be lethal enough, or they wouldn't be fast enough, I don't know. But it's equally nonsensy, because yes, if you use more force you are faster, but if you want to cut you need a minimum of control. If you just wanted to swing the sword like a baseball bat, why didn't you stick to a mace in the first place? Also, your sparring partners are going to thank you. So seriously, can we just meet somewhere in between of these two extremes? What do you think? By the way, if you're still here, this is maybe the right time to ask you if you have already subscribed, if you hit the bell, if you want to like. Thank you. Next topic, typology. This is not a rapier. Our side sword, or the sword that is used in Bolognese style of the early 16th century, is commonly mistaken for a rapier. And I would be curious if that is also happening to other fencers, or if it's getting better because over the past years Bolognese style or the side sword as a sword has become more popular. So Bolognese school includes a variety of weapons. You can see some of them here at the wall, but at the core of everything is a single sword. In the sources mainly called spada, nowadays called a side sword, but that's a modern designation for it. It's a two-edged sword where you put your index finger over the crossguard, and because of that the hilt became more and more complex with time, and also the blades got longer and longer until during the second half of the 16th century the side sword developed into what we call a rapier. So how can you tell the difference between a side sword and the rapier? Now, since the side sword is the predecessor of the rapier, obviously sometimes it's really hard to tell, but some general rules of thumbs here for you. First, the point of balance is further away from the hilt. That is because with a side sword you want to use thrusts and cuts equally, and not mainly thrusts as the rapier later would do. The blade is shorter than that of a rapier. I would say not more than 110 centimeters, but exceptions are possible. And hilts are generally less complex, but they do most of the time at least protect your index finger. Next up, the big beast. Something else that creates confusion on the socials is our two-handed sword. We've been calling it spadone like forever, in fact, because when we started out there was no real designation for it. Spadone is simply Italian for big sword. Typologically it's not a longsword, it's closer to but still not a montante, and most of all it's not comparable to a feda, at least not if you care at all for the appropriate weight, size and balance. If you want to know more, I recommend watching one of our first videos, The Beast of Bolognese School, and apart from that, use whatever simulator and sword you want for training, that is up to you. But I personally always cringe a little bit when I hear or read that the two-handed sword in the Bolognese sources would be a longsword. Coming up, I am currently working on one more Bolognese basics videos, but it's gonna take a bit more time. And then I also wanted to do another masters and knowledge video with the whiteboard. Now those videos take a lot of preparation, a lot of research also, and the filming takes quite some time. And on the other hand, they don't get a lot of views, but I think out of the content we produce, that is the most educational we can offer to you. So I want to continue to make those videos every now and then in every case. I wanted to do another fight and talk with Simon because we still have some dagger and kicks that we wanted to try out. And if I was going by numbers, I would say that probably you people like the Bolognese basics videos and the workout videos most. So if you want to see more of that, let me know. Meanwhile, we just continue to make content. Events in 2024. Some of you might have noticed that in around May or after May we posted these tournament videos of a little event that we held in Vienna. We have already a date for next year, so we are definitely going to do it once more. I'm confident that after April we can provide you with some kick-ass first-class content of tournament fights. We'll decide the details in autumn, and from there we will start with the organization and the planning. And I wanted to say something about that. We have everything in German, so the homepage, registration, it's all in German because we honestly did not think that it would grow that fast. But for next year, we already got 3 requests from non-German speaking countries, from people that asked if they could attend. Now we are truly honored, so thank you, but we don't know yet if we're able to pull it off that fast. So we have to decide if we can make it bigger and if we are able to switch everything to English. I want to stress at this point that we are a very small club, and so it's basically most of the time just 3 to 4 people that do all of the stuff. And all of us have, a regular job, we have families, we have friends, and maybe also other hobbies. So we have to watch out for the workload, not to get too massive. But if it's possible, we'll try to make it possible. Never say never. That's everything for today. Thank you for your support, thank you for watching. And as always, have a wonderful day and have a lot of fun in training. See you in the next one.